Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Put.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today? Good. How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things I'm talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poe. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. We'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. We'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause the times is demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First Contact Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio. Good morning, Earthlings. Welcome to First Contact Radio. How you doing today? I am doing well. It is the first day of a new month, a new beginning of a new cycle. Perhaps, as we shall find out, a month that is the beginning of great change. Change we've all been waiting for. All right, so let's look what we're going on here. September 1st, Tuesday. Sun sign in. What's the sun sign in? The sun sign is the same. Virgo. Sun sign in Virgo tarot card is the Hermit. Hermit represents the one who has gone into solitude in order to find light, find wisdom, and then brings the light out and holds the light for others to see. That is what the Hermit is doing. You have the color gray because it shows that the Hermit is not one extreme of white or black, but is walking the middle path. And the lesson here is patience and timing. It's an earth sign. So with the earth, we learn we have to be patient because the earth moves at a slower pace than the other realms because the energy of the earth is a little bit slower. Everything moves down. The fiery energy is faster. You have the air energy, the water energy, and the earth energy. And so we need to be patient. Things unfold in a timely fashion. So as we are aware of the timely fashion, as we're aware of our need to be patient, things happen in a different way because we're watching the process unfold and observing it as opposed to rushing and trying to skip one phase of the next. And the moon sign for today is like yesterday. It's Aries. It's first sign of the zodiac, so it tells us on a subconscious level. Because think of this. Think of the astrology as a clock. We can even take a look at this grid here, this graphic here. Okay, you think it's just like a clock. It's a wheel. And you've got your two timepieces, your main ones. You have the sun right here. And the sun is going to be moving around in a counterclockwise directions. Right now it's here in Virgo. And then it's going to go into the next sign here, which is Libra and Scorpio and so on. So this is the one hand on the clock, the big hand, that moves slower. Okay, it takes a whole month to get through one of these. Whereas the other hand that moves faster, right here, the moon phase, this one moves around also in a counterclockwise direction. And this one moves around every 2.5 days. It's down. So you look at this as the minute hands, okay? So if you look at your astrology in that perspective, if you look at the wheel in this, you kind of see how it's telling you a form of time. But it's not time as we know it. It's time on another level. So I think with astrology and with all of these sciences, the more we look and understand, the more we understand. And it's just one of those sciences, or like anything else. But it definitely is very cool to look at it and just see how time is being told on a cosmic level. Okay, so that's where we go here. So if we look at some of the details of today, several of them have already gone into play. The first one is between Venus and Aries, and the next one shortly after that was between Mars and Aries. Now we know Mars is the planet that is the ruling planet with Aries. So it really charges things with energy because this Mars is all about energy. It's a positive flow, which means it's a nice positive flow in how this energy is going to be used. So it's not a place where it's bottled up. It's not like a square saying there's a lesson there. Here we have a nice good flow of this energy, and the imagination as well is playing into this. At 11:37 a.m., Aries is going to go conjunct, which means right next to. So if we go and we look where the moon sign is in Aries and right here, these two are conjunct. Means they're right next to each other. So they're having a conversation. Okay? They're both having a conversation. The moon and Uranus. Uranus is unexpected changes, surprises. The moon is the unconscious. And right now the unconscious is charging forward with the fiery energy of Aries. So the unconscious wants to know. It's getting together with Uranus and saying, hey man, what's going on? What are the surprises? What do we have in store? And so that's what that's all about there. And the little VC tells us, void of course, tells us that once the moon gets to this place right here, now the moon isn't going to be in the sign of Aries anymore until it gets into the next sign. And the next sign, if we look at it, it shows us here the moon sign is going to go from Aries to Taurus, and that adjustment takes place at 4:02 a.m. So in order to, you see how Taurus is over here, and see where Aries is right here in Uranus? Well, when it gets to this point, you could see just in the location, it's not quite all the way to the next house. These are all individual sections called houses. So it's not quite in that house yet. So that's what we mean. It's void of course. It means it gets to the last planet in that house, but it still has to go a little bit of ways to get to the next house before we could say it's there. So that's a void of course phase. And the void of course phase is that phase where it's just kind of preparing to go into the next phase, but it's still working with the energies of the old phase. Okay? Does that make sense? And then after that, nothing is going on aspect-wise until tomorrow. And then when we're back at the show tomorrow morning, we will be completely in Taurus for our moon sign. All right, so does this help you understand a little bit more of how you could look at this? It's like a clock. And you can add in all of these other little aspects as well. Moving around his hands on the clock. All right, on the Jewish calendar, today is the 17th of Elul, E-L-U-L. It's the last month of the Jewish calendar before we go into the days of awe of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, which are the beginning of the new year. Okay, we could see right down here, Eve of Rosh Hashanah comes on the 13th. All right, we're going to talk more about these particular dates because there's some interesting things going on this month. And the daily thought for today is heaven desires earth. There are those who chase all things of heaven and they find cannot live. There are those who chase all things of earth. Their life is not worth living. Heaven desires the earth. Earth is lost without heaven. Make your life a marriage of the two as lovers that never part, and you will find peace. The Mayan Oracle, we're at a 8th tone day, which means we're right here. So it's the 8th position on this wave spell, or the theme of the seed. So the seed is all about flowering. Color yellow tells us it's flowering. So our ideas and things are flowering, and we're at the 8th position along the way, which is the galactic position. It's called the galactic tone of integrity. Integrity is when we move along our path and we stay in the groove of who and what we're about. We stay in our integrity. Okay. Phrase for today is I harmonize in order to play, modeling illusion. I seal the process of magic with the galactic tone of integrity. I'm guided by the power of vision. So the monkey is the kin for today. That's where the magic comes from, sealing the process of magic. Also the idea of playfulness and playing. Whereas the eagle here gives us the power of vision. And the tone 8 is where we get the harmonizing and the integrity. Now our star, beauty, elegance, that's our like-minded energy today, whereas our challenge today is to, nurture, to love, take care of ourselves. Our hidden power is the dog, which is love and loyalty. Okay. And you could see that we are still in the midst of these intense galactic activation portal days. So there is a energetic shift taking place on subtler levels than the physical. Moon phase 88% of the way full, making its way back down to a new moon. Solar wind 370.1 kilometers per second. Planetary K index currently quiet at 2. Big coronal hole right here and here. Well, not big, but much bigger than the Earth, that's for sure. But nothing facing us to be aware of. M-class flare possibilities dropping from 5 to 1%. Geomagnetic storm activity seems to be staying stable, 45% the mid-latitudes. When we get into high latitudes, also staying the same. Maybe a slight increase, not too much. And up in the sky tonight, 1st of September, Vega passes your zenith if you live in the world's mid-northern latitudes. Vega goes right through your zenith if you're nightfall, if you're at a latitude 39 degree north near Baltimore, Kansas City, Lake Tahoe, Sendal, Beijing, Athens, Libsyn. Okay? So there you have it. And that is our cosmic weather, all that's going on. UFO news is up next. Let's do it.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, the first item we have is a compilation from 2015. Most remarkable UFO sightings in August 2015. And here we have a compilation. You can see their individual videos. But over the course of this month, we have seen many sightings, and you will see these here. Sightings in Vegas, Sydney, Valparaiso, Chile, Turkey. Okay. So I'm just going to leave those for you. You can check those out. Colorado, strange object filmed with IR infrared camera. This was the 30th. Vail, Colorado. I just captured a UFO with my infrared camcorder that was first spotted over Silverthorne, Colorado by a few locals. Then I captured it with my camera 30 miles away, motionless above the Gore Range in Vail. Okay. There seems to be right in here. See some movement? There it is. Okay. Good shot. Good shot indeed. All right. Moving on. 2 UFO lights recorded over at Beckenham, Western Australia, August 30th. A new interesting video footage of 2 lights recorded over Beckenham, Western Australia, August 30th, 2015. Poster said the object was moving pretty fast, that it doesn't retain the classic orb shape. Satellite tracking information shows satellites in between the time of the object. All of them, however, have a low magnitude that aren't traveling in tandem. 6:42 p.m. facing the star Garcrux on the tip of the Southern Cross. Objects seem to move in unison upward towards the south, most likely ending up in the west. Okay, so that's what we have here. Something for you to check out even further, see what you think. Moving on here, this is more proof of giant aliens living in South Africa. All right, here we have an example of a femur bone. Femur bone is the thigh bone. This part of the thigh bone here is the part that connects into the hip. The hip bone's connected to the thigh bone. Okay, now you can see here in comparison that this bone here is much larger than this bone. And you can get a better analysis. So this bone comes with this size head. So the question is, with this bone, and we could see it's, I mean, just look at the distance here of the size of this knot here, right there, and this one. Big size difference. Twice as much, almost twice, not quite. Certainly 1.5 times bigger. These ancient aliens once came down to live and die on our planet. Often UFO reports that had alien contact usually had beings that are 2 meters or less. People tend to ignore the fact that in some cases the aliens were 3 meters tall or more. Let me give you an example of a case. On September 27th, 1989 in Vrlzar, Russia, several young children claimed to have seen a 3-eyed alien with a robot escort. The alien was said to be about 9 foot tall. The craft, according to an eyewitness testimony, landed in the outskirts of the city. Shortly thereafter, the tall alien appeared, and upon seeing the young boy, shot a weapon at him, causing him to vanish before the eyes of the other people around him. Professor Francis Thackeray shows Michael Tellinger in this video rarely seen part of the upper leg bone and hip joint of a giant that would have stood about 12 feet or 3.5 meters tall. This bone has been vault of the medical school of WITS University, Johannesburg, since the early 1960s, when it was found by miners in a mine in northern Namibia. It is one of the most precious and rare specimens available today, including indicate the existence of giants in South Africa more than 40,000 years ago. Okay, 16-minute video. And as you go through, you'll see what we saw in the pictures, except you see the moving versions. Okay, moving on. Now we go from giant UFOs to little itty-bitty UFOs. This is just a little itty-bitty one right there. So tall it fits into a box, or so small. This tiny alien body was found in Russia and has no resemblance to any animal known. Russian scientists are confused over what it could be and said they need to wait for the results of the tests. It's interesting. Russia has the giant bone, and now they got the little one. They found a strange, mysterious creature in the river of Sosnovy Bor, Russia. A strange and mysterious creature was accidentally captured by 2 residents of Sosnovy Bor. The mysterious creature was found in the banks of the river. The strange creature has Rezvidokensha name. The creature has been examined by several experts and so far has been able to identify it. This is a video extracted from the Russian TV. Initially, local residents thought that Keisha was a mutant chicken embryo, but the strange phenomenon expert researcher Andrew comments, it seems neither fish nor fowl. The creature had a strange skull without beak, without fins. The baby was delivered by an expert. Okay. Interesting. And one last piece, one last UFO story. From large UFOs to small UFOs, this one asked the question, 17 ways humanity's first contact with aliens could go down. Some are fairly certain that we haven't yet made contact with extraterrestrial intelligence, but when it happens, yes, it's definitely going to happen and be big news. What is somewhat less definitive is the form that news is going to take. Will it turn out to be hostile with ET harvesting our resources? On the other hand, will ET offer to solve some of our long-standing lingering problems such as poverty, hunger, clean renewable energy, and goodwill towards mankind? Educating Humanity takes a look at 17 possible outcomes. There is no doubt that some of them are silly, but who knows? We should throw everything into the mix and consider it all. 1. ET ignores us just like in Star Trek. It's possible that ET has some sort of prime directive or other non-interference policy. 17 ETs may contact us, and maybe not when ETI does contact Earth, it may be as unambiguous as a UFO landing in Times Square. ETs change our philosophy. No matter when or how we detect it, if it happens, it's going to cause massive changes in everything. ETs help us solve our problems. It's likely that they'll have much more advanced than we are, be able to help us. ET threatens us. We kick their ass, as unlikely as it seems. It's within the realm of possibility that humans could successfully repel any invasion of Earth by more than an advanced race. ETs are boring and or annoying. 7th, ETs eat us. Everything has to eat something. 8, ETs enslave us. 9, ETs steal our resources. It would be hard to develop a galactic civilization without any of those. 10, ET destroys Earth because it's in the way. Oh, I see. Sort of like in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Just in the way. Gotcha. ETs kill us all for being a bad species. That could happen. ETs kill us all by accident. ETs kill us all because they consider what happens when humans encounter an intelligent species like dolphins or chimpanzees. ETs get us to kill ourselves. Well, we seem to be doing that. ETs are intentionally hiding us from us instead of ignoring us. ETs are unintentionally hiding from us. And ETs are not there. So those are 17 scenarios in which one could have, as it says here, first contact. Let me offer an 18th. You could listen to this show right now and have first contact with someone who's been telling you for years, I'm not from around these parts. You know the story. Anyway, first contact happens in a variety of ways, and there are many, many down here right now that are from other worlds, other realms, whether they came here this lifetime in a UFO or ship or whatever, or in another and have been part of it. There's a lot of souls down here to help. So first contact has happened. I mean, anybody who is still waiting for first contact is doing so only because they're only believing what the government is telling them, that it hasn't occurred. But first contact has occurred. The very fact that we have so much data and evidence behind means that there was contact. That's what that means. When you have information left behind by somebody, it's called contact. Crop circles, someone's trying to contact us. And if they left it behind as a message of communication, that means they have reached out many, many times. So contact has occurred. That is UFO news. I'll be back. Just like yesterday, today is the day to wake up, because we're going to talk about a few conspiracies or something like that momentarily. Stay tuned.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People shouldn't be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of them.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Patriots arise. It's time to demand the truth.
All right. I played that for you because now is the time. Come on, everybody get closer. Listen up. Very important. Mickey, pay attention. Everybody else out there, pay attention. For a while now, there's been a lot of evidence and events that have been gathering together, pointing towards September 2015 as a time where we need to pay attention. And guess what? Today is the 1st of September. That means we have arrived. We have entered the doorway of the time that has been talked about for a while. So since we're now in this time frame that has been talked about, we should be aware of what are the different events that could be going on this month, because there's a lot of them. And if we're going to make it through this time without getting caught up in all of the rumors and the disinformation, we need to really think for ourselves, because it does seem like there's a big push out there to have people thinking about something other than the focus on their lives. So one of the big things is I have a video link here. I'm not going to play this video because it's a long video. It's 30 minutes, but I'm going to recommend that you watch this video because it really outlines everything. This video here, you can see it's called SHEMITAH Exposed. And SHEMITAH represents a period of time that coincides. Remember how when we talk about the Jewish calendar, I say this is the biblical calendar? It's because that particular calendar, it's not any more special than any of the others, other than it's the fact that it's the calendar that when the book is written, this was the calendar that was used. So we can look and say these time frames of this particular Jewish calendar line up with these particular stories. And the particular stories that are in these books are there with multiple meanings. We can read the surface level, or we could read deeper and see that there's more of a story. Well, within the Jewish system, every 7 years, the count begins again. And every 7th year is called a SHEMITAH year. And at the end of the SHEMITAH years, there always has been ways we can look back historically, and we can say whenever these times, the ending of the SHEMITAH occurred, there has been, and it will show you in this video, these major collapses in our financial systems here on the earth. And as he's going back, and the gentleman in here, a financial expert, is going back showing you all of these, it starts to seem kind of, it's like putting the pieces together, and you're starting to wonder, it's weird that every one of these, there's been something that has occurred. And here we're coming upon the end of another SHEMITAH, the September 13th. Now, this month we also know about Jade Helm is out doing exercises that they say. We have closings of Walmarts that closed a while back that are going to be closed through September. We have events out in the world where we hear about asteroids. Here's a link to an article that says 6 huge asteroids coming our way as doommongers insist the world will end in 4 weeks. So this shows within September 21st to the 28th. So we've got asteroids, we've got Jade Helm, we've got a financial collapse, and there are those who are concerned with the financial collapse will be civil unrest. We certainly see that the media is trying to push some sort of racial war, and people aren't buying into it because people are smarter, knowing that we're not going to fight with each other over the color of skin because the media is trying to push that. So they're playing their game. That's a lot of stuff going on, right? So we can get caught up in all of this, or we can stay focused on where we need to go. And I believe we need to stay focused, because through the readings in the various books of prophecy, we're told that there is going to be a time when our energies are going to be shifted to like a separating of the wheat from the chaff, the good and the evil, the new earth and the old earth, the new heaven and the new earth, the old earth, the consciousness raising. And we're told that during this time we have an opportunity to focus where we want to go, raise our consciousness, which means we have to raise up our thoughts and our vibrations and keep them vibrating at a higher frequency. Fear is a lower frequency vibration. So as we've been talking about the Krybalion, remember how the Krybalion works on the poles? Everything vibrates, and you got the poles, and you got fear, and you've got faith. And we need to go and pull ourselves to that side of faith, but not getting caught in the fear. We need to rise above that. So as we're going through this month, we're going to hear a lot of rumors about the variety of ways in which people think the world is going to end, whether it be an asteroid or a tidal wave or something. We have a number of clues that have been left out there by politicians and media personalities that something is going on. And then we have the connections with the biblical calendar and the ending of SHEMITAH, which we can go back and look at past endings of SHEMITAH and see that there is a pattern of financial stability or instability that occurred during those times. So just by putting the pieces together, remember when we talk about General Major Stubblebine? He was the gentleman, if you ever saw the movie Men Who Stare at Goats, they were a group that was within the military, the army, that was dealing with psychic warfare. And he was a gentleman that was in the midst of that. He was 32 years in the military, and he's credited with having revamped the entire intelligence program of the United States Army. And what he said and described, he said, everything that goes out is information, and all information from an intelligence standpoint is considered a dot, one dot. And so you have lots of information and lots of dots. And when you look at that, you might not see anything specific amongst the dots if you're just looking and you're not trained. But what the intelligence person does is they look on how the dots connect, the dots underneath the dots. And that's what we're doing here. We're going through life and we're connecting all of the dots. And in connecting the dots, it's sort of like, you know how in the Matrix, when you see all of those images going down the screen, and then after a while you start to see images within there of people moving and so on. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like seeing the dots and connecting them so they create images within this matrix of energy that's out there. So this month we need to do a lot of dot connecting, paying attention to what's going on. And so all we have to do is just keep using our energy the way that we know. Keep understanding, because through all of this time, when things get chaotic and people start buying into rumors or disinformation, what happens? They get nervous, their energy changes, they get chaotic, then their life becomes chaotic, and then they start getting desperate. We don't need to do any of that. All we need to do is be calm and patient and know and understand the lesson of the hermit. Patience, timing. We're right where we need to be. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. All we have to do is just be and do what it is we know, which is how to use the energy available to us, which brings us all back around to the Krybalion. So we have first we have the principle of mentalism, followed by the principle of correspondence, vibration, polarity, and rhythm. These are the ones we've dealt with so far. The mind, all is a mind. Every bit of this mind corresponds to itself. Every bit of it vibrates, moves back and forth between polarities within itself, and moves in rhythm. And as we get in sync with these rhythms, we start moving in synchronicity with all of the energies around us. And that brings us to the next one, cause and effect. So here it is, causation. And this is chapter 11. Chapter 11. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many phases or planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. Krybalion. The great sixth hermetic principle, the principle of cause and effect, embodies the truth that law pervades the universe, that nothing happens by chance, that chance is merely a term indicating cause existing but not recognized or perceived, that phenomena is continuous without break or exception. The principle of cause and effect underlies all scientific thoughts. ancient and modern, and it was enunciated by the Hermetic teachers in the earliest days. While many and varied disputes between the many schools of thought have since arisen, these disputes have been principally upon the details and the operations of the principle, and still more often upon the meaning of certain words. The underlying principle of cause and effect has been accepted as correct by practically all the thinkers of the world worthy of the name. To think otherwise would be to take the phenomena of the universe from the domain of the law and order, and to relegate it to the control of the imagery, something which men have called chance. A little consideration will show anyone that there is in reality no such thing as pure chance. Webster defines the word chance as follows: a supposed agent or mode of activity other than a force, law, or purpose, the operation or activity of such agent, the supposed effect of such an agent, a happening, fortuity, casualty, etc. But a little consideration will show you here that there can be no such agent as chance, in the sense of something outside of the law, something outside of cause and effect. How could there be something acting in the phenomenal universe independent of the laws, orders, and continuity of the latter? Such a something would be entirely independent of the orderly trend of the universe, and therefore superior to it. We can imagine nothing outside of the all being outside of the law, and that is only because the all is the law in itself. There is no room in the universe for something outside of and independent of law. The existence of such a something would render all natural laws ineffective and would plunge the universe into chaotic disorder and lawlessness. A careful examination will show that what we call chance is merely an expression relating to obscure means, causes that we cannot perceive, causes that we cannot understand. The word chance is derived from a word meaning to fall, as the falling of dice. The idea being that the fall of the dice and many other happenings are merely a happening unrelated to any cause, and that this, in the sense, is the term generally employed. But when the matter is closely examined, it is seen that there is no chance whatsoever about the fall of the dice. Each time a die falls and displays a certain number, it obeys a law as infallible as that which governs the revolution of the planets around the sun. Back and of the fall of the dice are causes or chains of causes running back further around the mind can follow. The position of the die in the box, the amount of the muscular energy expended in the throw, the condition of the table, etc., etc., etc. These are all causes, the effect of which may be seen, but back of these seen causes there are chains of unseen preceding causes, all of which had a bearing upon the number of the die which fell uppermost. If a die be cast a great number of times, it will be found that the number shown will be about equal. That is, there will be an equal number of one spot, two spot, etc. coming uppermost. Toss a penny in the air, it may come down either heads or tails, but make a sufficient number of tosses, and the heads and tails will about even up. This is the operation of the law of average. But both the average and the single toss come under the law of cause-effect, and if we were able to examine it into the preceding causes, it would clearly be seen that it was simply impossible for the die to fall other than it did, under the same circumstances and at the same time. Given the same causes, the same results will follow. There is always a cause and a because cause to every event. Nothing ever happens without a cause, or rather a chain of causes. Some confusion has arisen in the minds of persons considering this principle from the fact that they were unable to explain how one thing could cause another, that is, to be the creator of the second thing. As a matter of fact, no thing ever causes or creates another thing. Cause and effect deals merely with events. An event is that which comes, arrives, or happens as a result or consequence of some preceding event. No event creates another event, but is merely a preceding link in the great orderly chain of events flowing from the creative energy of the all. There is a continuity between all events precedent, consequent, and subsequent. There is a relation existing between everything that has gone before and everything that follows. A stone is dislodged from a mountainside and crashes through a roof of a cottage in the valley below. At first sight, we regard this as a chance effect, but when we examine the matter, we find a great chain of causes behind it. In the first place, there was a rain which softened the earth, supporting the stone and which allowed it to fall. Then back of that was the influence of the sun, other rains, etc., which gradually disintegrated the piece of rock from the larger piece. Then there were the causes which led to the formation of the mountain and its upheaval by convolutions of nature, and so on ad infinitum. And we might follow up the causes behind the rain, etc. Then we might consider the existence of the roof. In short, we would soon find ourselves involved in a mesh of cause and effect from which we would soon strive to extricate ourselves. Just as a man has 2 parents and 4 grandparents and 8 great-grandparents and 16 great-great-grandparents and so on until, say, 40 generations are calculated, the number of ancestors may run into millions. So it is with a number of causes behind even the most trifling event or phenomena, such as the passage of a tiny speck of soot before your eyes. It is not an easy matter to trace the bit of soot back to the early period of world history when it formed a part of a massive tree trunk, which was afterwards converted into coal and so on, until as the speck of soot it now passes before your vision on its way to other adventures. And a mighty chain of events, causes, and effects brought it to the present condition, and the latter is but one chain of events which will go to produce other events hundreds of years from now. One of the series of events arising from the tiny bit of soot was the writing of these lines, which caused the typesetter to perform certain work, the proofreader to do likewise, and which will arouse certain thoughts in the mind and that of others, which in turn will affect others, and so on and so on and on, beyond the ability of man to think further from all of the passage of a tiny bit of soot, all of which shows the relativity and the association of things, and the further fact that there is no great and no small in the mind that causeth all. Stop to think for a moment. If a certain man had not met a certain maid, away back in the dim period of the Stone Age, you, who are now reading these lines, would not be here, and if perhaps the same couple had failed to meet, who we now write these lines, would not be here now, and the act of writing on our part and the act of reading on yours will affect not only the respective lives of yourselves and ourselves, but will also have a direct or indirect effect upon the peoples now living who will live in ages to come. Every thought we think, every act we perform has its direct and indirect results which fit into the great chain of cause and effect. We do not wish to enter into consideration of free will or determinism in this work for various reasons. Among the many reasons is the principle on that neither side of the controversy is entirely right. In fact, both sides are partially right according to the Hermetic teachings. The principle of polarity shows us that both are but half-truths. The opposing poles of truth, the teachings are that man may be both free and yet bound by necessity, depending upon the meaning of the terms and the height of the truth from which the matter is examined. The ancient writers express the matter thus: the further the creation is from the center, the more it is bound. The nearer the center it reaches, the nearer free it is. The majority of people who are more or less slaves of heredity, environment, etc., and manifest very little freedom. They are swayed by the opinions, customs, and thoughts of the outside world, and also by their emotions, feelings, moods, etc. They manifest no mastery worthy of the name. They indignantly repudiate this assertion, saying, "Why, I certainly am free to act and do as I please. I just do what I want to do." But they fail to explain whence arise the want to and as I please. What makes them want to and do the thing in preference to another? What makes them please to do this and not that? Is there no because to their pleasing and wanting? The master can change these pleases and the wants into others of the opposite end of the mental pole. He is able to will instead of will, because some feeling, mood, or emotion, environmental suggestion arouses a tendency or desire within him to do so. The majority of people are carried along like the falling stone, obedient to environment, outside influences, and internal modes, desires, etc., not to speak of the desires and wills of others stronger than themselves, hereditary, environment, suggestion, carrying them along without resistance on their part, or the exercise of the will. Moved like the pawns on the checkerboard of life, they play their parts and are laid aside after the game is over. But the masters, knowing the rulers of the game, rise above the plane of material life and place themselves in touch with the higher powers of their nature, dominate their moods, characters, qualities, and polarity, as well as the environment surrounding them, and thus become movers in the game instead of pawns, causes instead of effects. The masters do not escape the causation of the higher planes, but fall in with the higher laws and thus master circumstances on the lower planes. They thus form a conscious part of the law instead of being merely blind instruments. While they serve on the higher planes, they rule on the material plane. But on the higher and the lower, the law is always in operation. There is no such thing as chance. The blind goddess has been abolished by reason. We are able to see now that the eye is made clear by knowledge that everything is governed by universal law, that the infinite number of laws are but manifestations of one great law, the law which is the all. It is true indeed that not a sparrow drops unnoticed by the mind of the all, and even the hairs in the head are numbered, as the scriptures have said. There is nothing outside the law, nothing that happens contrary to it, and yet do not make the mistake of supposing that man is but a blind automaton. Far from that. The Hermetic teachings are that man may use the law to overcome laws, and that the higher will always prevails over the lower until, at last, he has reached a stage in which he seeks refuge in the law itself and laughs the phenomenal laws to scorn. Are you able to grasp the inner meaning of this? Okay? So, in essence, what it's talking about there is cause and effect is what goes on all the time. As we go through the world today, we are going to say things, we're going to do things, we're going to think things. No matter what it is, these are all actions or activities or processes that are going to cause something to happen. Everything that happens by something that we have caused or other things have caused. If we go through life and we understand the laws and the principles, we think for ourselves, we don't allow others to tell us how to think. However, on a daily basis, when you turn on the television, you hear commercials telling you how to think, what to buy, trying to play upon your emotions, feelings, trying to get you to cause you to have the effect of going to buy their product. You have news shows and commentators on there trying to get you, cause you to feel a certain effect. So they tell you stories. You read the newspaper and you read the stories that are intended to cause you to feel a certain way, to take certain actions, and on and on and on this goes. So all the stories of these rumors and the wars and the civil unrest and the potential disasters and the collapses and so on, all of these are causes intended to create an effect, the effect being that of feeling the fear. And if you feel the fear, your consciousness and energy and vibrations lower and get slow. And that way you stay down in this lower third dimensional. But as we step away from the fear, as we understand the law of the universe works, that the higher has power over the lower, we understand that we do not have to be subject to the causes of others or anything else upon us, because we ourselves can use the law and our understanding of it to work in synchronicity so that others' causes are not creating us to have certain effects. In other words, we have to use our Jedi mind power because, as it says, the force is strong on the weak-minded. So, are you going to be like a Jedi master and understand, or are you going to be one of the weak-minded? That's pretty much what it boils down to. All right? All right. So, we're close to the end here. I have this. It is from the angels, and it's our message for today. There we go.
Message from the angels. You are abundant.
August 29th, 2015, by Ann Albers.
The angels.
You are so abundant, dear ones. You are connected to the source of all that is. All you want is love. Whether you want money in the bank, a new car, a relationship, underneath all of it, you want to experience love. Love comes in so many forms, in so many flavors. Love comes in the form of a beautiful sunset, and a beautiful marriage. Love comes in the form of a comfy home, and comfortable pillow. Love comes in the form of food that delights you, movement that energizes you, and indeed in so many other shapes, sizes, and textures. Love is all around you. So when you want something, stop focusing on how you will get it and start to pray that your energy be ready to receive it.
Dear God, dear angels, I want something in my life. Please work with me and prepare my energy to be ready to receive it.
We will help you, dear ones. We will help adjust your energy so you, like a radio, are attuned to the frequency of that which you want to attract into your life. Sit, breathe, receive, allows us to work with you each day. This time, this reception of our love is far more productive than spinning your wheels trying to figure out how to make something happen in your life. Start, as in all creations, from the inside out. If you had what you wanted tomorrow, are you ready? If you had what you wanted tomorrow, are you willing to give up the complaints and all that goes with them? If you had what you wanted tomorrow, can you see yourself differently, as someone who has rather than someone who doesn't? Ask yourself these questions, dear ones, and prepare yourself to receive. Then, believe. You will be guided towards all that you seek.
Okay, that was a really good message. Very important indeed, because that is everything we've been talking about. Okay? Faith is a very important aspect, but faith is not chance, as was discussed. Faith is understanding how the law works. You ask and you receive. That's how the law works. So it's easy to have faith if one understands and trusts that the law works the way that the way the law works. So being prepared to receive that which we ask for is expressing that faith, because it's believing so much that one is just now in a state of reception. I'm ready to receive that which I asked for because I know, or I have faith, that the law is in operation all the time, and what I ask for will be received. What I cause to have happen will affect itself upon me as I cause it to be. And so then we just need to receive, and that openness to receiving is the believing that we're seeing what we've asked for. It's seeing it into manifestation. So just thought I'd throw in my 2 cents on that regard. Today, here's the Warrior of Light passage. It's page 97. Each warrior of light contains within him the spark of God. His destiny is to be with other warriors, but sometimes he will need to practice the art of the sword alone. That is why when he is apart from his companions, he behaves like a star. He lights up his allotted part of the universe and tries to point out galaxies and worlds to all those who gaze up at the sky. The warrior's persistence will soon be rewarded. Gradually, other warriors approach, and they join together to form constellations, each with their own symbols and mysteries. Just close your eyes, take a deep breath, and exhale. Take another deep breath, and exhale again. Take another deep breath, and exhale. Now, imagine yourself seated out in a field, and you're looking up at the sky, and you see the sun shining down upon you, and you feel the wind gently moving. You feel the moisture in the air to know the presence of the water. You feel the fire, the heat of the light shining through all things. And you understand this combination of fire and water and air that hits your body mixing with the earthly elements of who you are. And as we sit and receive this energy, we do so without having to consciously focus on it. We know it just happens. And we know that when we turn our attention to watching it happen, we can even be more effective in the causation. Because now we participate as co-creators. We clear our minds. And we simply allow the law, the universal law, to express itself to us, that we might express back to it the faith and understanding we have of its operation. And we know that during the times of change that are upon us, that it is our purpose to remain calm, to remain focused, to remain grounded, so that we in turn may provide assistance to those who are a bit off balance at the moment. So let's just imagine sending love right now, all around the globe, all around planet Earth. Let's imagine everybody on this entire Earth being hit with rays of love. Imagine this love green like the heart chakra. And with this love, energize it all with understanding. And with patience. So let the subconscious mind continue now on this journey. The journey of the hermit, the journey of patience, and knowing the timing required to bring back the wisdom one has attained. And let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale. And open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That is it for today. A lot of information. Hope you have a chance to watch that video. It's only 30 minutes. But watch that video. It really will clue you in on all of different thoughts of this month, of what are the concerns. That way, once you know, then you don't have to worry about the rumors that are going on, because you will know what is the information. Alright, that's it. I'll be back tomorrow. Till then, have an awesome day. Enjoy the month of September. It is now upon us. Talk to you soon. I love you. Keep loving each other. Peace. I'm out of here.